All right. Good afternoon, everyone. It's Captain Chandler with your police department. I'm here with City Manager Kenny Martin on his video blog series for the week of Live with City Manager Kenny Martin. So, Kenny, how's it going today?
Doing fine, my friend. Got a little bit of rain out there today, but
Yeah.
other than that, everybody's doing quite well. It's Friday. Hope everybody's had a good week.
Absolutely. And I appreciate everyone joining. This is a great way to get, really the details about what's happening in the city. And today we're going to talk about COVID-19 and a surprise we have for the community that will be helpful. We're going to speak on the tornado cleanup. Our Public Works Director, Andy Barlow, will be joining us for that topic. A little bit about parks and greenways, and we'll close it off with local businesses. But thank you all for joining. If there's something that you hear that you like that we were talking about, please click the like button. Do a smile face, do a wow face. We'd love to see the engagement on our end, and it's very helpful to see those engagements. And also, if you have questions, type those questions in the comments. This is an interactive forum, and we will be glad to answer any question that you have. So, Kenny, with COVID-19, what do we have coming up that's helpful for our community?
Well, I think that are you talking about the surprise?
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll leave that surprise to you. How about that?
Okay, awesome. Good deal. So,
no, I'm excited about the fact that some of these businesses are getting open. We've been following up with all the businesses, and Tyler and I like cutting up a little bit, but
absolutely.
Yeah, I want him to really to put the surprise out there. I think he deserves that. But as far as the COVID, been speaking to a lot of businesses this week, visiting with a lot of the businesses, and they're excited. And I want to thank the citizens that have been patronizing these businesses. Of course, most important things for everybody to keep safe. We can't emphasize that enough. I know there's some folks out there that are torn about whether or not the businesses should open or shouldn't open, and we're following the governor's orders. We understand the importance on both sides of that, and we don't want to seem non-sympathetic or concerned about health for sure. If you don't feel comfortable getting out and going out and patronize some of these businesses, we totally understand that. But if you do feel comfortable and you're taking the necessary precautions, we encourage you to get out there and patronize businesses. And of course, our local businesses need to be patronized if you can before any other business outside of our city, just simply because those things come back into our city through our police department, our fire department, public works, our schools, and all the other folks. And plus, these people invest in our community. And said the same thing last week, and I'll say it again this week. But it does my heart good to go out here and visit with folks and see them patronizing these businesses again. It also makes me proud to see them wearing all the appropriate safety, things with their mask and their gloves and things of that nature. But I will reiterate, if you wear those things and they get utilized to the point where you're ready to discard them properly, put them in trash cans, things of that nature, so that our dogs don't pick them up, or other animals, and in particular our kids and people that have to get out there and do it. If we put it out there, somebody's got to pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. And with the latex gloves, it's important to be careful about cross-contamination, because sometimes people think they put on those gloves and they think they're protected, but they still touch everything with those. So just like you're washing your hands, you always want to constantly exchange your gloves out for new ones if you continue to use them. Like you said, definitely throw those away and properly dispose of them. It's gross for our crews to have to pick those up on the side of the road, or even a citizen seeing that trash and picking it up and throwing away. So just be kind to the environment too, and clean up when you can.
Yeah, exactly. And I walk every day, or I try to walk every day, and I'm seeing them out there when I'm walking, and I get it. Folks probably feel like they're nasty themselves when they get finished with them, but to just throw them out the window on the side of the road, that's just totally disrespectful. And we're going to pick them up. I even pick them up, and I know that my wife wouldn't appreciate that, but I'm trying to do it in a safe way too. But I just hate seeing it out there. And if you would sort of kick off the thing about the surprise, I think it's a good surprise. I think it's something good that not only the police department's been working on, our elected body, our staff, the Wilson County Health Department, and of course a local retailer are going to be stepping up big time to put something together. And the city's very proud of this. It may not be the end all be all, of course, but I think every step we try to put in place in our community to make things better and safer for those that we so proudly serve is a good thing. So, Captain, if you want to put that out there, I'm definitely willing to back you up on it.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you said, I think you've been working on this a lot too, and working with Kroger, working with the health department, Tennessee Department of Health. But we're going to bring drive-through testing to our community, so they don't have to drive to Lebanon to have that done. But drive-through COVID testing will take place. It's going to take place next week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. There'll be a larger release that comes out with those times, but basically 8:30 to 5:30 at the Mount Juliet Middle School. And those who want to participate will pull in off of Woodridge Place, check in, it's free, and they can be tested for COVID-19, and then after that they eventually get their results in a couple of days. So it's nice to have that for our community, just so those who think they could possibly have it can get tested, and just to determine if they have it or not, whether they need to self-isolate at home, whether they're asymptomatic and they may have it, may not know they have it, so they're not spreading it if they become tested. But we appreciate the partnership with Kroger, the Tennessee Department of Health, and everyone else that's been involved to get that going for us.
Yeah, and Captain, I'd like to give a little bit of a shout out, as you would say, to the Director of Schools, Dr. Donna Wright, to the Deputy Director, of course, Kroger, the Health Department, and Tim Deffendeffer. I always say that wrong. My wife's probably out there watching. She's worked with him for years. He's a local resident. He's very passionate, loves people, loves this community. And it just makes me proud that it's another step, a huge step for us, that our folks and those that live on this end of the county, rather than having to drive somewhere else, will be able to do that. And we hope you get thousands of people through. And if you think of the way that Woodland Place and the Mount Juliet Middle School is set up, you'll be able to, I think, enter on Woodland Place is the way you've got that set up, Captain.
Right.
And back out on Charlie Downs Parkway. And other than stopping for your test itself, I mean, it's unabated. I mean, it's a perfect location. And I can't thank the school system enough for stepping up and letting us utilize that location.
Yeah, for sure. I'm thankful for the school system. Our police officers are also going to be out there. We've staffed it with our reserve police officers. We appreciate them always stepping up to help us out when stuff like this occurs, where we could use their assistance. So they'll be ensuring that traffic flows well and that it's all orderly. So again, we appreciate everyone's involvement to make this happen for our community.
And Captain, would you mention that? I'd be remiss if I did not mention to all the volunteers out in our community, not just those with the fire department, police department, the city, but just the citizens out there. I want to thank everybody. But I really want to thank the police and fire folks that have been volunteering their time, because keep in mind, a lot of these folks have their own issues as well, through the tornado damage, through the strong line wind damage, the storm damage, whatever. They've got their own issues, but yet they're putting others first by coming out here and helping their neighbors and helping their community. For example, the COVID testing. You talk about these reserve officers that will be coming out during the daytime, maybe sacrificing their time away from their families and their places of work to come help us so that we can get those that want to get tested can be tested. That speaks volumes not only about the state of Tennessee, but it speaks heavy volumes about our city. I mean, yeah, it just makes me extremely proud. I know it sounds mushy, but if you really think about it in this day and time, we need more mushy. We need more people taking time to really think about what some people are doing for complete strangers and what we're doing for one another as human beings, and not get so focused on a lot of the negative that you hear. Makes me very proud.
Yeah, you're right. I would much rather hear about the positive than the negatives, and there are so many positives out there that overshadow the negative that occurs out and about. So definitely rather focus on the bright and the light. It's a lot better than the dark.
Yep.
So some people have joined Kenny and like Lisa Smith. Thank you for joining. John Haney Long, the father of one of our lieutenant over the reserve programs, watching. Mark, Penny, Commissioner Justice, thank you for joining. VJ, thank you for joining. Cheryl, Rose is watching. Andrea, Lisa, a lot of people have chimed in. So if you're on and you're watching, chime in, say hello to us. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have any questions too, just type those questions in the comments and either hit the like button, the wow face, or the smile. It'll be great to get that interaction from you. Before I move on to the next topic, I want to be sure I mention that the governor today released a small group non-contact businesses to open back up with precautions. And that's like bowling alleys, arcades, dance classes, water sports, mini golf. Those type activities can open back up today per the governor. So if you watch the governor, he's doing a measured approach to this. It's just not all at once. And he's slowly looking at different areas of society and slowly reopening those up with different, precautions in place to ensure that the spread is limited as best as possible. But let's move on to the next topic. And you may know this guy, city manager. Who's this that just joined us?
That gentleman right there is Mr. Andy Barlow. He and his family live here. Andy is a graduate of the Tennessee Tech University. He's got his master's degree in that. And we were blessed enough a few years ago to get Andy. I already knew his family to some degree. I'd see his wife, Stacy, at one of our local banks. And she was always bragging on Mr. Andy, always bragging on Mr. Andy. And God works in mysterious ways. And we got an opportunity where our public works director had retired, and we were able to bring Andy on. And Andy is our public works director. He's our chief engineer. Not only is Andy a very smart guy, but he's very passionate. He loves his community. And he's probably one of the best human beings I've ever met. And his family's the same. His children and his wife works at Mount Juliet Christian Academy. His children go to school there. My son went to school there his entire career. It's a wonderful school, and just a lot of exciting things happening there. So Andy, I told him I would embarrass him earlier today in this thing, but he is what you see there with that fella, just like what you do with the captain up there. And I'm seeing them on different screens, so you might not sure how you're seeing them from home, but two great people. And if there's one thing we try to focus on doing in our city, is we try to hire wonderful human beings, because you can hire the most skilled people in the world, but if they're not good human beings, you don't get the best of them. So thank you guys both for what you do. Andy, I know you've been working tirelessly just like the captain and others, and I know how much you care. So I'll turn it over to Andy.
Well, I appreciate that, Kenny. Yeah, and I got to say, I know that while I've been working, I know that we've had our crews have really been working very, very hard out there. Public Works guys have been working since Sunday afternoon, basically after we had the storm go through. And so we have been hit with two pretty large weather events here, literally 2 months apart. And I think one of the important things to put out there for everybody to know right now is that while we're beginning to wrap up some of the work on the tornado debris, now we're starting to ramp up a lot of the efforts on the storm debris as well. And so and you hear me talk about the storm, that's from Sunday, and that's the one that we had almost Category 1 straight line winds coming through our town. And I know that I've had damage at my house. I expect many of you watching out there have had the same, limbs down, trees down, and the like. And so basically what we want to let everybody know is that the city's Public Works Department is out and about picking up the vegetative limb debris from Sunday's storm. We're out there. We have the two new grapple trucks, which thanks to the Board of Commissioners, we got those immediately after the tornado. And then also we have the our two chippers, chipper trucks that we have that are out there. So we have the all 4 pieces of equipment running. Just as a comparison, we're typically running 1 to 2 pieces of equipment on a normal basis. And so the city's got full staff, thanks as well to the Parks Department. I know that Rocky Lee is out there loaning some of his guys to us to help us with some of the efforts as well. So this is truly a citywide effort. I know there's a lot of volunteers out there that are helping. If you can, some of the ideas that we want to pass on to everybody for what we can handle. We're a little more limited in what we can handle than what we've had with some of our contract efforts from the tornado. But generally, we're out there, we're picking it up. If it's at or near the street, we're picking it up. Some of the things that you want to look for, based on equipment that we have some limitations. So we're taking things, any limbs, trees, anything that's 10 inches in diameter or less. Based on our equipment, we need it to be about 15 feet or less in length as well. We're not taking anything like tree stumps. We're not taking any construction debris, things that might have flown off your house, anything like that. So we have some limitations in that, but we are out there and we expect to be canvassing the entire city. Be patient with us as we go around. I know I have a pretty large pile in my front yard now as well. And so expect that we're all going to be in the same boat as we finish that up. The other thing is on the tornado. Kenny, do you have anything to say on that?
Yeah, I was just going to say, I know that you've had your own issues, and your teams had their own issues with power outages, trees down, things of that nature. So when you said that, I think it's important to note that we all face this. It's one across the entire state, and Andy and his team basically have not sat still since the night we had the tornado. And then we
had guys come out beginning at about 5 p.m. Sunday and pretty much worked a full 8 to 12 hours from that time all the way through the night, and then started again on Monday morning. And So they've been working tirelessly. And big shout out to all those guys that are putting in that hard work and effort.
Absolutely.
And Andy, I have to echo that with Kenny. I see your public works crews working so hard all over the place, and like people like Toby Toombs, who, he normally is the city fleet and mechanic, but I've seen him out helping coordinate cleanup, and he was very instrumental during the tornado cleanup. But they're working 100% full speed, and it's just amazing to see, because we all do a lot with less, and it's amazing to see what so few people can accomplish. And they're really just working hard for our citizens and our community, and they want it back to normal just as much as we do.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I know guys like Toby, he's out there, he's been helping a lot with the tornado debris as well, putting in a lot of extra time and effort. And that effort on the tornado is coming close to being wrapped up. And one of the things we also want to put out is to have any tornado related debris. That's if you've got anything left on your property, anything that hasn't been brought up to the street yet, we want to try to get that up there this weekend if at all possible, because our contractor's coming back on Monday. We actually gave them this week off to let everybody get things collected back up to the street, and they're going to be coming back Monday, and they're going to be picking everything up from that point in time moving forward. This is going to be the last pass, so be sure and get that up as soon as you can.
Sure. And if there's anyone out there that still needs help, the Recover Wilson organization, which is our recovery team for entire Wilson County, utilizing nonprofit and faith-based organizations to help folks with tornado recovery. If you still need help out there, they've transitioned from the online portal to a phone number because the demand is a lot less. And I put that phone number in the comments, but it's simply 615-270-9255. You can call that number. It's the Tornado Recovery Connection, and they can ensure that if you need help, they will work with you to get the help that you need. So share this video for those who, of your friends who have maybe been impacted. If you've been impacted yourself, share it with your neighborhood so everyone knows that if they need help, they can call that phone number to get help. Andy, normally we save questions for the end, but since I have you, I saw a question here about some pickup, but Carol has the question: any help for pickup if they're outside of the city limits? What do you know about debris outside of the city limits that you can speak on?
I do know that the county is working on the tornado debris cleanup. I'm not as certain on the efforts that the county's doing from the storm on Sunday. Kenny, you may have some knowledge of that. I know that you're just outside the city limits on that.
I do, yes. And as a matter of fact, if you'll contact either the county mayor's office, which I don't have that number in front of me, we may be able to find that for you before we get off today. They are picking up. It's a little bit different setup than what we're doing here in the city, but it's similar that if you could get that debris to the edge of the road, they will get it picked up for you. I talked to my particular county commissioner the other day, and similar setup. Just the difference is, of course, there's the county and this is the city, but I see a lot of that out in the county, and I know a lot of people out there hurt and had the same situation that we've got in the city limits. So yes, if you'll call either your county commissioner, if you have a direct number for that person, they can reach out to the right folks and get you some help. But definitely let them know, because they may not be aware that you've got an issue on your street.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. And then just some kind words from Candy. She's thanking all of us for everything that we're doing and continue to do. We never planned this. No one did. And she loves our city. So thank you, Candy, for the kind words. And Kenny, I just got that number sent to me, Ford County, and that's 444-1383. 444-1383. And that's Mayor Hutto's office. And he can ensure that if you have debris roadside, that it can get cleaned up. So thank you, Travis, for sending that to me. It's very helpful.
Hey, and speaking of Travis and Tyler, none of this would happen without you two guys putting all the effort in. Travis is our IT director, and of course, Captain Chandler. They put all this together and do a wonderful job with it. I mean, this is just top shelf stuff. Not me, you guys.
I appreciate that. But hey, Andy, thank you for joining us. I'll go ahead and pull you off. And
thank you.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
It.
All right. Moving on, the next is just a little update about parks and greenways. It's nasty today, but this weekend, I think the high is supposed to be 60 to 65 and sunny. So I'm sure a lot of people will be enjoying our parks and greenways. Any update you want to provide on the town center, the clock tower, anything of that?
Yeah, thank you, Captain. Yeah, the clock tower is finished, and if you hadn't had a chance to see it at nighttime, it's gorgeous. And thanks to Captain Chandler, he had a great idea early on about the changeable lights. It was no extra cost with the clock tower, but for special events like Autism Week or Month and things of that nature, you can change the colors on it. And Captain Chandler and Travis will be controlling that themselves, and because they keep up that a lot better than I do. And it's just beautiful. I think it's a great addition to our downtown. There's still a little bit of tweaking to do with some of the groundwork there. It's been so much rain that we can't get in and get some of that taken care of. But if you'll notice, just a little bit north of that, there's some construction going on in the field beside it. That's going to be part of the new walkway that takes you over from Mount Juliet Road over to the RTA parking. And so it's done that because the RTA parking will be much more in the long run over time as we continue to build our downtown district up. Right now, to be for people that utilize the train station at the end of the day, if that may walk over there. Say if you live in the apartments or townhomes or whatever, that'll be your access point if you walk to the train station to walk over. And it'll be very nice. They're adding over 100 and some odd parking spots at the RTA parking. So the parking there on the east end and the west end, all that's going to be redone. And it'll look nice and be remodeled. That'll be a nice tie-in. And you can actually park there anytime, even when that train station's not being parked. If you want to utilize that to park there and walk on our Greenway system, you can park there, cross at Mount Juliet Road, and go all the way down West Division Street. That is actually the main starting point for it. That was our first phase of the Greenway system on Mount Juliet Road to West Division. So you'll still be able to do that, and it'll also give us overflow parking for events that we hope to start having in our downtown area, which is exciting. That's going along real well. Anybody's driven West Division. I will say that the weather events recently has put us a little bit behind again. Weather in itself hadn't been our friend when it comes to those projects, but I hope that people are liking the progress. What's exciting is when you see people utilizing it even before it's completed. Just imagine what it's going to be when it's nice and it's finished and paved and all beautified. It's going to be very nice.
Yeah, and with Music City Star, it's pretty popular in our community, and at that normal parking area, it's pretty maxed out some days, and this will help relieve all the parking situation where so many cars were there. So I think they're even parking across the street because there wasn't parking available. So this will be helpful and a relief for that. So it's nice to see that project being done.
Yeah, a lot of people, the ridership will definitely go up as well because, if you don't have a place to park to then board the train, of course, you're not going to utilize it. So having those extra places will allow people to carpool and then ride and utilize the train service, especially if you work downtown.
Right. Have a question that just came in about Ethan Page Park. Richard is asking what's going on or going in behind Ethan Page Park. It looks like it's being cleared. Do you have an idea of what that may be?
Yeah, that could be part of the new residential development that's going in over there. I don't think Mr. Lee, our parks director, has been over there doing any clearing recently. So I believe that's in reference to the new development. I am drawing a blank off the top of my head on the name of that development. Barlow Builders is building a really nice subdivision over there that will ultimately connect East Hill Street to Clemens. So that clearing could be in relation to that. I don't believe it's in relation to Ethan Page Park, but if you've been by there recently, you probably noticed some improvements to the entrance there. We're ultimately going to eventually concrete that entire parking area so that those patrons can use it. It's nice. But what you see that's been done there, along with our car display on Mount Juliet Road, the car is not there anymore, unfortunately, as a result of the tornado. That entire parking lot was concreted, and the same is going to be done at Ethan Page Park at no cost to the taxpayers. That's just folks that and local businesses that want to step up and make those things nice. So over time, Ethan Page Park, Eagle Park, and other parks in the city will be made better just through generous donations from other folks. And we're going to have some really good surprises coming soon. One about our fire department, and then some other art and beautification projects around the city.
Awesome. And speaking of art, Commissioner Justice has this question: what is the psychedelic stuff underneath our screens? And I think he's referring to the background of our screens, which is the painting on the caboose at Charlie Daniels Park with kind of a mural for Charlie Daniels. Can you kind of explain how that came about?
Yes, through the Wilson County Tourism offices, and of course here in Wilson County, they're going to try to start doing. We started a little bit of a thing. I think it's really started here in Mount Juliet throughout the county, but there've been murals done all over the place, of course, in Nashville and other places. But we really started putting some emphasis on that. Well, the county has a program now through the tourism office, and so they're painting different murals all over the county. And this was one of them. It's on the old caboose that's in Charlie Daniels Park, and it actually has Charlie Daniels on it, and of course the TriStar and some other beautiful art. And the artists that did that, there's no cost to the citizens. All these murals are being done through generous donations of companies and individuals, and so you'll see more. As a matter of fact, the next mural that we hope to see will be on the 2-story red brick building, which is the oldest standing commercial building in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, at the train tracks. It has a smaller mural on it now, but we hope to see more of those. I think they're beautiful. I know some folks probably, like some more than others, but we just think it brings a lot of smiles, a lot of artistic value to our community.
Absolutely. And then a question here from Corey. She goes, can you comment on the progress of the Greenway? And I assume it's going to be the Greenway on Division Street, Town Center Greenway. Do you know when that's going to wrap up?
Yeah, we were hoping to have it done in June, still shooting for that if we can get some dry weather. If you've noticed, the paving equipment is in place. Once they start that, it's going to be very quickly, because it'll be a matter then of just trying to button up the landscaping and the sodding and seeding and strawing. So we still hope that that'll be completed in the month of June.
Okay, great. Good deal. So local businesses, Kenny, any update on our local businesses?
Yeah, the ones I try to call on as many businesses as possible. And of course, there's a lot of businesses, so I hadn't had that opportunity. But even the barbershops and the salons and things of that nature are open now, and we want to encourage them to continue to do to be safety conscious with masks and gloves and things of that nature. And they are. I think some, again, could probably do just a little bit better. I don't want us to get too lax. I don't think that our elected body and the police department, anybody else, wants us to get too lax and think we're beyond anything. I think we need to continue to be extremely vigorous in our efforts to be safe. I've seen a couple of things I think that might be pressing the envelope just a little bit. So if you're not wearing your mask and you're going in stores and things of that nature, I encourage you to do so. Not trying to be an alarmist by any means, but I just think we just need to be very smart in what we're doing. So excited the businesses are open, but continue to be safe. But the businesses that I am hearing from, they all want me to say thank you to the people out there. Anybody listening, make sure that your neighbors know they can't survive without you. And most of these folks, whether or not it's a corporate name or not, a lot of these businesses are owned by mom and pops that live in this community that have put everything they own. And I'll say this every time, as long as we do these videos, please support them, because they cannot survive without you. But there is a way that you can support them and be safe. And what I'm seeing in our restaurants and other things make me proud. Again, nothing's perfect. There's a few things I think we can improve upon. And I hope over time we don't get lax. As a matter of fact, the city, we may have opened some things, but we never did close our greenways, because we felt like it was important for people to be able to get out and enjoy the outside elements. What still does remain closed, and I know it's not related to business, is our volleyball and our basketball and things of that nature. Those things that are close contact, like the community center. I think till we know for sure we're past this and we have some different medical procedures in place that we know that people are going to be safe, we will keep those things closed. But in the businesses, wear your gloves, wear your mask, hand sanitizers, social distance, and all the things that we all know we should be doing.
Okay,
but
great.
The businesses are doing very well. They're excited to be open. And I'm liking what I'm seeing for the most part, with everybody being very respectful of one another.
Yeah, absolutely. My go-to Mexican restaurant is Margarita House, and someone posted a photo and tagged me in it on social media yesterday because they spotted me at Margarita House, and they were just glad to be in there. And I was just as glad to be in there eating myself. But just like with any restaurant, they're doing only so many per table. Everyone has to be distant. So glad that restaurants are back open, especially when you're a police officer. It's a little bit of way to get some type of relaxation in, just to sit down and enjoy a meal.
Yeah, and Captain, have you noticed the enthusiasm of the people that are able to serve you, not only just the restaurants, but even in the stores and shops? Mm-hmm. It's like we're finally realizing how nice it is to have that personal connection, even if it's with a complete stranger.
Right.
Care about you. I mean, I've had countless people that have called me that could take advantage of the unemployment. Mm-hmm. Probably, to be honest with you, could come out on the upper end, but they genuinely want to work, and they want to work hard, and they want to serve you, and they're excited. So make sure that you love on them too when you see them, and tell them how much you appreciate them. I know that you do, but sometimes it's so easy to say, well, it's just somebody that's helping me. And it's so much more than that. It's somebody's husband, it's somebody's wife, it's somebody's child. and they're out there just like the rest of us trying to make a living. And I just can't thank them enough. And I'm loving what I'm seeing, and I encourage us to keep doing this and not forget what we've all been through since basically December in this city. And I don't think that we have, and I don't think we ever will.
Right. I agree with you. So let's take a few questions. I see one here. It's Mike's commenting about upgrades to the skate park. He mentioned that it's starting to create cuts into the pavement where the wheels from the rollerblades are making it stuck and making it unsafe. But the Parks Department's already replied. So they replied to Mike that they're going to let the Parks Director know, Rocky Lead, and make them aware of that issue at the skate park. So Mike, our Parks Department, they're watching too, and they're aware of your comment. And it's nice to see other departments, looking at the feedback from our community to see, what issues that may be out there. And we're going to be as responsive as we can. And if it's something we can fix quickly, Mike, I'm sure our Parks Department will be on it.
It's funny that happened so quick, Captain, on that response. Yeah. We had a staff meeting with our department heads on Monday.
Sure.
Word of the day was responsiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty quick response right there. That's what we want to be. We want to be quick.
Hey, you're right. It's funny because you mentioned we'll get the number for county cleanup, and someone is sending me the number in 20 seconds. So we're here to serve, right? And hopefully we serve in a very, very good manner and impressive to our community. That's our goal anyway.
Absolutely.
Mr. Justice mentioned about the governor's executive order, and he's right. Nothing more, nothing less. We are following exactly what Governor Lee is putting out there with the executive orders regards to the precautions and reopening with COVID-19. And it makes it very easy for the community to understand that because it's not confusing. Wilson County, other areas that are not in metropolitan areas seem to all be following the governor's executive orders. Yeah,
and I want to brag on our elected body because we could have done something totally different. If you watched out through the country, a lot of cities and counties were doing different things. We chose to follow the governor because we felt like there would be a consistency there. So I want to give kudos to our elected body for choosing that route and directing us to go that route. I think it's worked out well. And that way, then whatever we're doing is exactly what the governor's doing. And when you have that consistency, I think it's easier for folks to follow, and it's not near as confusing. So I'd like to give them a shout out.
Sure. Sally has a question about the platform at the new transit development. She's asking, is the train platform going to be on both sides of the tracks?
I know the developer for that development is still trying to get that worked out. I hadn't had any final conclusion on that yet, and that may be an 11th hour decision. When you're dealing with a rail line like that and CJ Corman, and you start thinking about federal and state authorities, they take that stuff very serious. Any kind of crossing, the way they look at it, the fewer crossings, the better. We're not certain we'll get that. Do I think it would be advantageous? Absolutely, especially that development, but also understand the concerns that they've got that just maybe a couple hundred yards to the east, you've got another pedestrian crossing when folks could just simply cross at Mount Jett Road. So Miss Sally brings up a good point. That's still in the works. They still desperately want that and desire to see that happen. We just don't have that answer yet on that.
Okay, great. Tons of comments here about appreciate what we do for the community. A lot of thank yous for doing the video. Daryl, appreciate you all thanking us both for what we do. Appreciate you, Daryl. Appreciate the support.
Appreciate all those nice folks. Beautiful families there. There's a beautiful picture.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's tons of comments like that. We do appreciate the support to help support these broadcasts. Please share the broadcast. Please like it. Add comments in there because it's helpful. Because the more comments and likes that we get, the more engagement we get, the more this video is shared throughout our community. And there's a lot of good information provided. And we would love to get more of this information out to our community and make them aware that these videos and these updates are occurring weekly. You can join us next week as well. I'm sure we'll be on Friday around 3:00 too to give another update. And we always have new relevant information to provide the community. So thank you all for joining here.
Yeah, and as far as exciting news for businesses, I know a lot of folks hated seeing Logan's go. Logan's just didn't go in Mount Juliet, Logan's Roadhouse, that is. I know I'm jumping around a little bit, but people have been asking about that. We've got a local business person that's looking to possibly open a restaurant there. And what I like about that is it wouldn't be a corporate type of restaurant, but sometimes the uniqueness of a mom and pop restaurant in that location might go over real well. So keep your fingers crossed. So we hope to have some information coming real soon about what that's going to look like. And I'm excited about that. Any businesses you see that have closed, that's just part of business attrition, especially in these times. we're working hard to get those open. And I think folks will be very excited about some things that we're hearing and seeing in our community, even in light of while we're dealing with the COVID and tornadoes and other storms and economy issues that we're seeing. We're going to come out of this just like we did back in 2009, just like this country's always done. But we can't do that without the very people out there in this community. And that's the small business owners and our citizens that live here and make it what it is. And our job as servants, and we said hokey. Hokey's in the word of the day today, Captain, just like it was last week. It may seem hokey, but it's genuine. People here really care, and it pains us when our city doesn't look and operate the way that we want it to. And it pains us when we're letting people down. And that is genuine. That's the only way I know to put it. And this elected body, I'm hoping through this budget process, you'll see some exciting things through the police department and through the fire department, because their goal and our goal is just most important is to keep everybody safe. But if we can enhance your quality of life, that's icing on the cake.
Yeah, and I think that's, why Gina here, she cannot wait to move back to Mount Juliet. I knew Gina when she lived here. I think Gina, you moved to Ohio, if you can hear me, and she's thankful for the people and leadership, and she's MJ proud. So I know they're making the transition back to Mount Juliet after moving away. So it's nice that we're able to get some of our previous Mount Juliet residents back in town to continue to make this community great. Linda is mentioning here she loves the update. She's outside of the city in Wilson County with a Mount Juliet address, and she even likes to see them. So she just gives a shout out about thanking so much. But if you do have a question, we are here to answer that question. I'm trying to go through those, and if somehow we do not get to those questions for you, you can always email the city manager or myself, and we'll be glad to find an answer for you. But thank you all for joining.
I had some questions today, and I thought I'd bring them up here. And I know I'm jumping in. I apologize.
Hey,
to all the seniors graduating, I know it's been unique for you, but the neat thing about this is traumatic as it's probably been for them. You graduate. This is such a huge accomplishment for you, and it's unique. You are going to be forever unique, maybe in some wrong ways if you look at it, that you didn't get to go through the normal process, but you will know that you survived, and everything that you're doing now is only going to make you stronger for the future. And so I'm just so proud of all the seniors out there. I'm proud of anybody, if you graduated kindergarten, whatever it is you've accomplished. I know this was a unique year for you, and I just want to commend you for what you've been through, especially our young folks, because they've never lived through anything like this. Most of us at our age have never lived through anything like this, and we need to remember those young folks, and we definitely need to remember our senior citizens. Right now, we got to, of course, keep our distance and be safe and all, but love on them. If there's things that you can do, if it's nothing more than a call or a text, a lot of them text and things of that nature. I'm not sure about the writing thing and what they can accept through that, because I understand there's a lot of things that can be transmitted from just the paper that you send them. But whatever you can do, most importantly, just continue to pray for one another, pray for everybody, because it's working. Your prayers are working. We got through the tornado. We're getting through this COVID. We got through the storms, and everything that we're doing is just going to make us stronger.
Yeah, and you mentioned, loving on each other. This weekend's Mother's Day weekend, so a big shout out to all of our mothers out there and those who may play the motherly role. We appreciate all that you do to ensure that our kiddos are raised properly and brought into this world properly. So thank you so much for what you do to all the moms out there.
Absolutely. And school system, everybody knows, that they're asking about the schools. Mount Juliet, Christian Academy, they'll be rebuilding. They didn't miss a beat of school this year. They continue. So I want to give a shout out to them, and very proud of them. They'll have their graduating ceremony as well. That's planned for the future. It'll be in front of the school. They'll do it safe. I met with the headmaster and the principal recently, and some staffers. Very excited about that. West Wilson Middle School, they should start demo here real soon. Weather again has been sort of messing that up a little bit. You should see that starting either this month or 1st of June. The same with Stoner Creek Elementary. And of course, everybody knows about the school plan by now, is that they'll be utilizing some other schools for those schools until the damaged schools get rebuilt.
Right. And I think I'm not going to speak to this to any detail because I don't know it exactly, but a new plan came out. It's on the Wilson County School websites. I know Suzanne, she's asking about it, but they've turned, I think, the high schools, they've extended extra grades at Green Hill High School and also Mount Juliet High School. They've extended the grades at Mount Juliet Middle School, where they're basically dividing up the students amongst 3 schools to ensure everyone is accommodated from Stoner Creek Elementary that was destroyed, and also West Wilson Middle School.
Yeah, and it's not the most advantageous situation we're all having to deal with, but if everybody encourage patience, and we're going to do everything we can to get everybody through this, and having that nice new high school is going to help a bunch.
Awesome. Well, I do appreciate everyone joining this live broadcast. And you mentioned the clock tower. So this Sunday starts Police Memorial Week. So I believe our clock tower is going to be lit up blue for the week to honor our police officers out there for National Police Memorial Week. So that'll be the first time that we get to use those features on the clock tower to show honor to different causes in our community that everyone cares about. So thankful for that. Thankful for supporting that, Kenny. I think it'll be a great beacon for our community for different topics that are out there.
Absolutely.
But again, if you like this broadcast, please like it. Please put a smiley face, a wow face. Share the broadcast out there on your own page so others will see it. And join us next week. We will be back at 3 o'clock Friday of next week, and for another update from your city manager, basically the CEO of the city of Mount Juliet, here live taking questions and providing a interactive update to our community. So Kenny, have a good weekend. I'm sure I'll see you at some point, probably out walking and enjoying the beautiful weather. I'll be trying to do that myself, and appreciate Andy Barlow, our public works director, joining us earlier. Thankful for all the comments by our community and some of our elected officials joining in. So we appreciate that. So to everyone, have a safe, wonderful weekend. Kenny?
God bless everybody, and happy Mother's Day to all the moms.
All right, awesome. Take care, everyone.